Impossible engineering. Hi guys, and welcome back to one of our educational videos here on Engineering Progress. Today is another episode where we explore and analyze the best engineering feats ever recorded in man's history. The most impressive feats of engineering that we hear about are the big ones, gigantic bridges and dams and tunnels and so on. But those are not the ones that impress me so much as those that no one has ever heard of. In today's video, we will be discussing some of the craziest and impossible set of engineering feats that have been achieved by great engineers from years ago till today. The amazing thing about many engineering feats is not that they were done, but that they were done by hand, or at least with simple machines. Let's begin. The tallest buildings in the world are not, by some standard measure, the best. They are not the most efficient, or even the most profitable. But they are the ones that make you gasp in amazement when you see them. The same is true for ships and bridges and spacecraft. The ones that amaze us were never likely to be the most cost-effective. The key was to build something that was big enough to hold the eye, but not so big that it was ungainly or unbuildable. If there is no physical limit to size, then how do we explain this? Why aren't there bigger ships than the Queen Mary 2? One answer is that physics defines limits beyond which things get harder rather than easier. A bigger ship is harder to steer accurately. A taller building needs proportionately bigger elevators. A thicker bridge requires thicker cables. But these difficulties are easier to cope with on land than at sea or in space. And while people have thought hard about what makes a building look right or an airplane fly well, no one has done serious engineering on architectural aesthetics of super tall buildings or super efficient aircraft carriers or interplanetary spacecraft. There is still room for growth here. Scaling up by a factor of 2 turns out to be surprisingly difficult, especially when you are working with objects as large and complex as buildings, ships, and bridges. From a distance, it seems simple. Just scale everything up by a factor of 2. But it's not so easy. In fact, many seemingly impossible feats of engineering have been accomplished only after decades of advanced planning and trial and error learning on smaller projects. Throughout history, the Great Pyramid of Egypt is the only one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world that still exists. It is also older than any other remaining wonders and much older than any other pyramid. The pyramid was built exactly around 2560 BC. It was built in 2 stages, first around 2700 BC and then completed around 2560 BC. The second phase of construction employed an estimated 30,000 laborers for 20 years. In total, it contains 2.3 million stone blocks, averaging 2.5 tons each, with some weighing up to 15 tons. No mortar was used in its construction. The weight of the stones keeps them together. The blocks were quarried from nearby limestone deposits, transported to the site, and lifted into place with wooden derricks. The Great Pyramid is a staggering achievement for its era. In comparison, Stonehenge took about 100 years to complete and required fewer than 10% as many workers. The Greeks' giant temple dedicated to Zeus at Olympia took 30 years to build, again requiring significantly fewer people, and was finished in order to be dedicated in the year 80 BC. The statue of Zeus at Olympia too was built around 435 BC, destroyed by an earthquake in the 14th century AD, rebuilt in the 16th century AD, destroyed by a lightning bolt in 1852 AD. The Colossus of Rhodes, the largest statue of the ancient world, built around 280 BC, destroyed in an earthquake in 224 BC, while the Hanging Gardens of Babylon remains a well-admired engineering feat. According to ancient writers, the latter was built around 600 BC and was one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world too. No trace of them has been found, and modern scholars believe that they probably never existed outside the imaginations of those writers. The Great Wall of China was built over many centuries, starting around 200 BC, as protection against invasions from northern nomadic tribes such as the Xiongnu and the Mongols. It was extended and rebuilt many times until it became what we see today. It stretches for almost 4,000 miles, more than 6,400 kilometers. For the newer projects of modern times, the Øresund Bridge is one commendable engineering feat. Connecting Sweden and Denmark, the bridge has been termed a technological wonder. It measures 5 miles long and is the longest in Europe mainland. It's an interesting story, really. The bridge is located between the two countries of Sweden and Denmark, and I think it connects to Norway as well. It's called the Øresund Bridge because it goes over the Øresund Strait. From a bird's-eye view, the bridge is a beautiful and complex construction. The bridge's roadway is lowered below the height of the ocean. This makes it appear as though you can drive right into the water. This tunnel runs under a lake and is nearly 3 miles long. There is the Three Gorges Dam, which happens to be one of the world's largest hydropower projects. Three Gorges Dam in Hubei province of China includes a network of dams, hydroelectric power plants, and irrigation systems. It is the world's largest power station in terms of installed capacity and also the largest concrete structure ever built. The Three Gorges Dam has a length of 2,335 meters and a height of 185 meters. This dam was built with 5 million metric tons of steel and 28 million cubic meters of concrete. While the dikes are primarily supposed to protect against flooding, their effectiveness on this point is unclear. While a controversial engineering feat, the building of the Three Gorges Dam was a remarkable achievement. Critics assert that the construction of the Three Gorges Dam caused not only environmental problems, but also social problems. Landslides and earthquakes are more common in the region because of the dam's reservoir. China experienced the heaviest floods in more than 3 decades in 2020. The dam's reservoir began retaining water at the highest levels since 2003 as it neared capacity. In the list of the greatest engineering feats, buildings by their nature take a back seat to other projects. The skyscrapers, however, are impressive in their own right, and they do get a lot of attention. Among the buildings classified as supertalls, there are some that can be considered engineering wonders, but others that might have been designed more for the sake of standing out rather than being functional. They have been criticized for being too flashy and having too many useless amenities. However, they have become iconic symbols in a short amount of time. The world's longest and deepest rail tunnel, the Gotthard Base Tunnel, has been built under the Swiss Alps. It measures 151 kilometers long and is an engineering marvel. The tunnel is situated at a depth of 2,300 meters, making it the world's deepest railway tunnel. However, the project was finally opened in 2016. The tunnel connects northern and southern Europe via Lucerne in central Switzerland and ends at Bodio in Ticino. Another curious case to look at is the Mississippi River floods of 1927, and the city and the surrounding parishes must be protected from it. Many solutions considered: canals diverting water, levees higher than the river, pumps to lift the water out. But all of them required massive amounts of land and money. A similar proposal was devised to build a Great Wall across the Delta region of northern Louisiana. In this area, the river made a hairpin turn back on itself as it approached its mouth in New Orleans. This meant that it had to go sideways for about 100 miles before continuing on its way. It also meant that the river was moving slowly enough to deposit a lot of sediment, enough to build a levee system strong enough to protect against even a catastrophic flood. One of the most impressive engineering feats in history was the Channel Tunnel, which in 1994 became the first tunnel to connect two countries on either side of the English Channel. The Channel Tunnel is about 50 kilometers long, or 30 miles, and runs from Folkestone in England to Coquelles in France. It lies below the seabed of the English Channel, which has an average depth of about 656 feet. The Channel Tunnel consists of 3 tunnels. A main tunnel goes straight through the center of the channel. 2 smaller tunnels run off to the sides for ventilation and emergency exits. They are called service tunnels. The main tunnel is actually 3 tubes stacked on top of each other. The bottom tube is for trains, which are kept at a pressure that is different from that of the outside water, otherwise they would float out into the sea. The middle tube is for fresh air, and the top tube carries water drainage away from below the train tunnels. Another stunning engineering feat not to forget is the Hoover Dam on the Colorado River. When finished in 1936, it was the tallest dam in the world at 726 feet high. It consists of a concrete wall with gravity-fed water pipelines on both sides through which water travels to generate electricity. There is enough concrete in the dam to build a 2-lane highway from San Francisco to New York. The power plant at the foot of the dam has 17 main generators that produce an average of 2 billion kilowatt-hours per year. For comparison, that's about as much power as all of Denmark uses. The dam provides water and electric power to Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Phoenix, Tucson, San Diego, and El Paso. The Great Pyramid of Giza, the Roman Pantheon, the 29-mile-long Great Wall of China, Grand Central Terminal, and the Golden Gate Bridge are among the structures that make us proud to be humans. They are also some of humanity's most enduring monuments, true engineering feats. With that, we come to the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, tell us what you think about these stunning engineering achievements. Let's all hear your views in the comment section. Please share and comment on our amazing videos. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to notify a new video like this is out immediately. Have a great day, guys. See you next time.